Hi, this is Barbara. Welcome to the Recipe Box. We've got a lot of exciting things happening around here, so stay tuned. We're going to be talking about an organization that I just fell in love with. I found out about this organization through a Martha Stewart website, which is Dreamers into Doers. They spotlight different entrepreneurs and women that are not only crafters and foodies, but also businesswomen that are involved in public relations, graphic design, website development, things that I do. So it's a great community. If you're not involved there, you might want to join. Check it out. Of course, it's free and a lot of really nice sharing, caring type of community. So I found out about this organization through one of the members over there. I reviewed all the materials, I watched the videos, and I just absolutely fell in love with the work that Terry is doing. It's called Enchanted Makeovers. It's a nonprofit organization, and Terry is an interior designer, and she took her passion and her skills and realign them to something that she has an incredible passion about, and that is transforming shelters across the United States. And from what I could tell, there are ways for us who are not interior designers to help in the work that she's doing. So I'm really pleased to have Terry on the program. I'm going to let her tell her story. So welcome, Terry. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Barbara, for having me.
It is an honor to meet you on the air. We're doing things a little different for those who may listen to the show on a regular basis. We're still going to use the hashtag on Twitter, FoodieCall, FOODIECALL on Twitter. If you want to post a comment or a question, you can still do that, or you can post it here on the network. If you have a question about that, the chat room is open. So I wanted to let you know that if you wanted to welcome Terry, if you wanted to post a question for her. So Terry, would you take a moment and give us an understanding of your background, and that I know that you're an incredible designer because I've seen pictures of your work. So would you tell us about your background and then how you made this change, this life-altering change into working with the women's shelters?
Well, I started interior decorating business in 2005, and my kids all, were full-time in school. And literally, as my daughter stepped on the bus, she's my youngest, I said, I want to take, it was really about, I finished decorating my home, and in that moment I realized I wanted to give women hope. It wasn't so much about the pretty things. And my first thought was, okay, then I'm going to go out and, into my community and go to homes. And my first client, when I went to her home, I just remember how it was just something wasn't right. I didn't know what it was, but the walls were white. She was crazy about flea markets. And it was like she just bought something and placed it on anywhere with the tag still on it. And I just said to her, I said, I want to just heal you and heal your home. And I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what was in her life. And I started with her kitchen. And I remember just praying as I was painting her walls. And when it was finished, she said, will you do my guest room? Then it ended up, we did the living room. Then it was the outside. And I asked my client, I said, I think you should name your home, because to really think about what does it really represent. Well, from all that process, she ended up telling her client about me. This client, which is so amazing how this is all aligned, her client would drive past her home for many times, not knowing it was hers. And one day he said to her, there's a home that I love, and there's a sign outside. And she said, what are you talking about? She said, well, it says High Hopes. And she said, well, that's my house. Well, of course, how everything's aligned, this gentleman worked for a women's shelter. And she said, you've got to know about this woman that helped me. And this gentleman said, do you think she'll come and just paint a wall? That's all we're asking, is just paint a wall. And she gave me his number. She said, you have to call him. And that was the hardest call that I've ever made, because I knew that the shelter would need help. But I was so in fear of who am I? How can I even make anything possible? And I finally made the call, and I visited. It was right after Christmas in '07. And I walked in there, and they, gave me a tour of the entire shelter. And I remember standing in this dorm where there's 30 women that sleep in this room with their children. And I immediately became depressed. And I thought to myself, how can women come to this place for a year, it's a one-year program, and be able to go to bed and have hope, but also dream, and wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I can get through this program. It was like the dorm was working against the program. And I took before pictures, and I told the director, I don't know if I can even do anything. I was so overwhelmed. I mean, the women were sleeping in used prison beds. The bedspreads were nursing home bedspreads. The lights were falling from the ceiling. The paint was chipping. The carpet was full of stains. The lockers, the doors were, falling off the lockers. I just went home, and I was depressed for days. And I finally, that voice said, you've got to look at those pictures. So I downloaded them, and as I printed out the pictures, there among that stained mattress and pillows with no pillowcases on them was a pattern that I've always loved as a child, is a polka dot. And obviously it wasn't the time for me to see it while I was in there, but as I printed it out, I saw it was white on white, so you could easily miss it, but it was polka dots on the pillow. And when I saw that, I heard the voice say, trust me.